Following developing news, the U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments today in a case that could restrict access to abortion pills nationwide. We have live team coverage. NBC 10 political commentator and at-issue host Sue O'Connell has a look at how this case ended up at the nation's highest court. But we want to begin with NBC 10 political reporter Matt Pritchard joining us live from Boston. And Matt, did the court signal which way it might be leaning on this issue?
Well, the justices on both sides of the ideological spectrum seem to be skeptical of these restrictions, even taking issue with this particular case coming before them in the first place. The Supreme Court wading back into the abortion debate.
The Food and Drug Administration versus Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine.
The justices hearing oral arguments in a case questioning 2021 FDA changes to the abortion drug mifepristone, specifically making the medication available by mail and taking away in-person appointment requirements.
Rolling back FDA's changes would unnecessarily restrict access to mifepristone with no safety justification.
A group of 7 anti-abortion doctors, represented by the Alliance Defending Freedom, writing briefs saying they could face moral conflicts if women dealing with side effects from the drug are brought into operating rooms last minute.
Forces them to choose between helping a woman with a life-threatening condition and violating their conscience.
But justices on both sides of the spectrum seem to push back.
No doctors can be forced against their consciences to perform or assist in an abortion, correct?
I don't read either Scott or Francis to say that they ever participated in that.
This case seems like a prime example of turning what could be a small lawsuit into a nationwide legislative assembly.
Commenting on the nationwide impacts if they were to rule in the doctor's favor.
Because we object to having to be forced to participate in this procedure, we're seeking an order preventing anyone from having access to these drugs at all. And I guess I'm just trying to understand how they could possibly be entitled to that.
Governor Maura Healey emphasizing the importance of this case.
I'm encouraged by the justices' line of questions today. We don't know what they're going to do, but boy, we're going to stay strong here in Massachusetts.
Abortion opponents like Massachusetts Citizens for Life writing in a statement, "We are hopeful that the U.S. Supreme Court will rule in a way that restores those safeguards and protects women." As for what the justices ultimately decide, of course, that is unknown until they release their final opinion, which should come in June or so at the end of this particular term. As for mifepristone, that remains available at this point. In downtown Boston, Matt Pritchard, NBC 10 Boston.
Thank you, Matt. All right, Sue O'Connell, let's turn to you right now. How exactly did this case wind up in front of the court, right? Because no one involved was hurt by the medication, and so it seems to be more of a preventative strike. Is that justified to say? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely, Colton. Absolutely fair. Mifepristone is a medicine that is safer than Tylenol. It's been around for 43 years, since 1980, and it started being used in the United States in 2000. It doesn't just treat abortion. It also treats Cushing's syndrome, stomach ulcers, and since 2016, it's been part of an abortion treatment. The question the court is considering is exactly who has been injured by this drug or could be injured by the FDA's approval of the medicine. So the party bringing the case, which is a group of medical associations that oppose abortion rights, their argument is that if the medicine fails to induce an abortion and the woman has to go to an emergency room and the doctor on call who's there for the emergency is against abortion and he has to perform an abortion, then I guess it's the doctor who is the party who is harmed. So since this is an extremely unlikely multi-step process here, it's clear this is a case that's an effort to further restrict legal access to abortion.
Political commentator Sue O'Connell, we appreciate your insight and your perspective as always.
You're welcome.